Pokemon?
Yeah. You gotta be
Come
the very
on, bro.
best
We're
like no one ever
live.
was.
You can't be playing Pokemon.
I'm just trying to be the very best like no one ever was.
Wanna be the very best.
No,
Yeah.
I never
I don't remember the rest of the song. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Slink Show.
Go schloink yourself.
Someone do the only show that blank blank, because I can't think of a good one.
The only show that will tickle your pickle for a nickel.
Thank you. That's it.
Anytime. Anytime.
My
I'm pretty close
name's
if I did a
Taylor. I'm with Ryan, and I'm with Hyrum, the legendary and mysterious man who's never been on the show before.
Correct.
You were gone so long that all history of your presence is just gone.
If only it worked like that, that'd make my life so much easier.
It is like if you just weren't in for like a month, and then
just
you
cease
come
to
back.
exist.
Yeah, so you're a new person every time.
I can no longer be perceived.
Anyways,
Good,
how's
Ryan?
it going?
It's going good. How are you?
Good. I'm just moving my monitor real
Any-
quick. Hold on. There we go.
Any updates y'all wanna give?
I found a weird fungus in between my toes yesterday. That was pretty
Mm.
weird.
Is that
Okay,
tr-
I
is
don't
that
have anything
is that a
to-
true story?
No.
Oh,
Why did you say that?
Mostly for the reaction.
Ew.
That's why I do most things.
Okay. Anyways, nothing new and interesting has happened to either of you.
No, pretty boring life as always. Same old, day in and day out. Repeat.
Repent.
Say repent.
Repent and repeat.
Sorry,
He
repent
repents
and
and
repeat.
repeats. Yeah. Amen. Hallelujah.
Repent, I repeat.
I repent. I repeat. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Mhm.
So today's episode isn't really gonna be anything. We're hanging out. We're chilling. If anyone watching wants to comment, we'll reply, and we're hanging out. One hell of a
Anyone watching
last
with your pickle pickled. Wait.
one hell of a last couple days. Shit that happened yesterday was crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Fucking insane.
Yeah,
go into
playing-
crazy
Playing
detail.
train together was pretty nuts.
That was until at the end when all chaos broke loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, so fuck. You know, it's crazy when it's not live. We're just chilling, we're talking, but then it goes live, and now I'm like brain dead.
Okay, I got a good one then for you guys.
Okay, yeah, do it.
Talk to me, Daddy.
Do you guys think that the next Call of Duty launch is going to be good?
No.
I think it's gonna be a Call of Duty game.
You think it's just going to be another crash like MW3?
I'm not saying it's gonna be a crash. It's just gonna be another Call of Duty game, and you can only release the same game so many times.
They're doing a
Unless
bunch
it's Smash
of
Bros.
innovations to the game that have already been a part of multiple different games for years.
Call of Duty is just the Apple of the gaming industry.
Yo, I got a really good topic, actually.
We're still on this one, asshole.
I'm switching. Okay. I want to talk about near-death experiences
No.
and UFOs. I've been on a little bit
Gotta go
of
put his belt on.
he's gonna go test it out. Test
Oh
out
my
this
God.
theory. I don't know. Should I wait till he comes back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just open with the
We
buckle has
can-
a sail and leather
We
butts-
we
belt
can
button.
absolutely talk about the Deadpool and Wolverine movie
What we're
too.
gonna talk about.
So Kendra said that we should talk about the Deadpool and Wolverine movie, and I'm also down to talk about that. I am very hyped for that movie. Do you guys know about some of the reveal? Like, they're so confident about this movie that they're actually showing the first 30 minutes of the movie to a bunch of people.
To a bunch of reviewers, yeah.
Yeah, and people are saying it's fucking great. I don't know. Someone said
Wow.
that they were totally ready to hate the movie, and they watched it, and they were very impressed.
Wow, it's almost as if you actually give someone who's very attached to the series creative writing freedom, they will create something that's actually fucking good.
Well,
You
yeah,
hear that?
yeah, Acolyte, yeah, for reals. No, like Ryan Reynolds, Hugh Jackman, and fuck, what's his name? Who's the guy who's directing it? Sean Levy.
Yeah.
Danny DeVito.
They all love Deadpool and Wolverine and Marvel, and they even said that they were ready to cancel the project because Hugh Jackman didn't come on until way later. And so they were like, we're not finding any story that's worthy enough to make a third Deadpool movie. And literally, 2 days before they were going to pull the plug on Deadpool 3, Hugh Jackman called up Ryan Reynolds and was like, I want to do it. I want to be in it. And that wasn't originally a part of the plan. But then when that happened, they went to Kevin Feige, didn't tell Kevin Feige that Hugh Jackman wanted to be a part of it now, and just had Hugh Jackman pop up in their meeting call. And Kevin, I guess, went, is this happening? Is this really happening? Are you coming back? And Hugh Jackman said, yeah. And they all like geeked out like a bunch of little kids. It was crazy.
So was it between the time period of Logan and like he didn't come on because he was doing a bunch of other movies?
What do you mean? Like Hugh
Well,
Jackman not coming back?
Yeah, you said he didn't come back for a bit. They couldn't get back. He didn't get back to them about the offer to be play Logan again and Deadpool and Wolverine.
No. It was just he retired the character. He was not gonna. He didn't want to come back, for the most part, because after Logan, he was like, that was the end. That was the cap. And
but this is a different Logan, and it's also Ryan Reynolds.
We don't know that. We don't know that. I have a theory that it is going to be the same Wolverine we've watched in all the movies. That's my theory. But Rogue
It's
Rain.
Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds stabbing each other. You can't complain.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't.
Rogue Rain said, I geeked out when I realized he was coming back too, since he said he was done with the character. Yeah. And Kendra said, when I saw the trailer for it, I peeked out too. You mean freaked out? I've been waiting for this movie. Yeah. No, I got pretty hyped up for it too. I think it's gonna be awesome. I think so. In Logan, if you guys remember, X-23, the girl Wolverine, was reading a comic book of the X-Men, and in that comic book, Wolverine was wearing the classic yellow and blue costume. So the theory is that all of those comic book issues actually happened in the timeline, but all happened during him hopping into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and all this shit. And so like when he said half of it didn't happen, half of it did, and it didn't happen like that or whatever, people are theorizing that they're going to tie that into Deadpool and Wolverine, and that's what he was referring to.
Sorry, this is kind of a side tangent, but could you imagine finding out, like, say we die, we gain all the knowledge of eternity, finding out we're in a cinematic universe? Like, I mean, we're in a TV show.
If the multiverse theory is correct.
Yeah, that means one universe is just the Truman Show.
I actually had I had a shower thought today that what if
I either love or hate Taylor's shower thoughts.
You don't want to hear mine. Mine are crazy.
What
Just
if?
To be clear, I want everyone before Taylor takes 30 minutes to 45-minute showers, and the entire time while he's in there, he just has shit playing in his head. There was one time that when you guys owned the duplex, I was just sitting out in the living room. He's like, "I'm gonna take a quick shower. I'll be right back." And I was like, "Cool." I watched a whole 45-minute episode before he came out. When he came out, it was all he was in a towel. It was all steamy, and he just goes. I got a brilliant idea.
I have a question. If that's not normal, because I do the same thing, what the heck do you do in the shower, and how long does it take?
He sticks his dick in faucets.
Shut the fuck up. That was a joke. That wasn't real. I didn't actually do that. That was like 7 years ago, and yet you still hang on to it. It didn't actually happen. Fuck you. I have a big enough cock. Fuck you guys.
Do you want to get into weird things Taylor does of a similar nature in showers? We can talk about that.
Do you want me to answer my question? I take showers as long as I need to. I take 5 to 10 minute showers. I don't take quick showers. I don't like being in the shower for a long time.
Less than 5 to 10 minutes?
Yes.
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 Wait, no, 5 to 10 minutes
Yes.
isn't a quick shower?
No, that is a quick shower. I'm saying
Oh.
that's 10 minutes is a long. If it's more than 10 minutes, that's a long shower for me.
I
Yeah.
can zone out in the shower for like 2 hours, and if the water temperature doesn't change, I'll keep zoning out.
Are you guys ready for my shower thought now?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Oh, sorry, yeah, that's a thing.
Okay, this kind of leads into what I was thinking about bringing up into the conversation today was near-death experiences, right? I just recently watched the movie After Death or whatever. And I kind of went down this rabbit hole of near-death experiences. And a lot of research is going into near-death experiences, a lot more than people are willing to talk about, and I think it's crazy, where a lot of them describe having a heavenly experience. And some of these people described going into heaven, and they describe what it looks like. They describe that it's the golden city. It looks like a city. It's beaming of light, and everyone feels really good and whatnot. And then some people say they even see God or Jesus, pretty much the same thing. And I had this thought that what if the golden city is like it was just like a civilization that evolved so far that they hit the singularity, right? And they created life and whatnot, and we are the life that they created. You know how like we're getting close to getting ready to build, like we got AI, right? And there's like a whole discussion of AI becoming the next living thing. Stop it! I said it was a shower thought. Just fucking listen.
No.
We can
What's really
debate
interesting
afterwards.
is not debating. You have discovered Mormonism. I am not kidding.
I don't think they talk about it like that. Do they?
You're not word per word, but that's essentially yeah.
Well, pretty much like they were the first us, but they just evolved, and now it's like,
Yeah.
You're
nail on the head.
because they say when we die, we go into the soul form and all this stuff. It's like we just revert back to what we originally were, and I know that that's a normal religion trope, trope. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't know. I just when I put it in that lens, it just for some reason I was like, oh wow, that kind of makes sense. I don't know. Yeah, that was my shower thought.
Solid thought. I like it.
Yeah.
Fucking. I didn't know where you were going with it. I was like, what's next? What?
Which also kind of brings me to another thing that I talked to Ryan about before. That Adam and Eve, right? What if Adam was named Adam because of the atom, and Eve was named Eve after evolution, and it's like those two things mixed together.
Okay.
These are theories. I'm not spitting it out like it's fact. Calm down.
You're good. There's other things that go into this.
Well, yeah, it's just the thoughts I've had.
I like it. Adam means like the first or the origin, and so since the atom makes up all living things is the origin of all existence, then yeah, you're right.
So then it makes sense. But then explain
but then
Eve.
Also,
though.
like, I never have looked into it.
Yeah.
She ate the fruit. Not a fan. No, I'm kidding. I think Eve had a solid understanding of what had to go down, and then just got portrayed in bad light.
Adam and Eve had a solid character arc, bro.
It's true.
I really like that movie.
True.
I think it was based off of a book, wasn't it?
If only we could read.
Yeah, I know, right?
This is based off of a book, right?
Yeah. No. But anyways, so do you guys want to hear more about this near-death experience stuff?
Yeah.
And some of the research that's gone into it?
Hyrums very iffy about it.
I don't want this conversation to go a certain direction, but please continue.
Well, what direction is that?
To the buckle.
To the buckle? No, it's not gonna go there.
Okay, yep, we continue.
Yeah, Adam and Eve, the Fortnite characters.
Wow, I just got it. Okay.
So pretty much this dude, he started out as an atheist, so he claims. I don't know anything about this guy. He started out as an atheist, and then he started getting wrapped up in some of the religion discussion. He started, at some point in his journey, I think he got wrapped up into talking to people who've like died and come back to life, where they're like close cardiac arrests and then they get resuscitated, and he starts asking them questions. And I think he interviewed over 2,000 people or something, and pretty much him and this other group of were they scientists? I don't know. This other group of people who wanted to research the same thing. They started compiling all these testimonies from the people who've died and come back, and it paints a picture. Almost all of these people who are legitimate all describe this same exact process, and they describe the same things that they saw. And it was really crazy because a lot of these people who've never met each other or have never been around each other, they didn't like swap stories or whatever, all describe the same thing. So the process is that when they die, they describe a feeling of lightness and they feel good, and it's like a relief feeling. And then they realize that they're floating. Sometimes it's floating, sometimes they're just standing there, and they can see their own body and they can see what's happening in the room. This is the only part of the process that we can verify, because the things that they describe, they get asked questions about later on, and then they talk to other witnesses in the room to make sure that what they saw was legit. And so, like, this one guy, I think it was open heart surgery or something like that, where he did flatline, and he watched the doctor operate on his heart. And when he came to, when this team of people who are looking at near-death experiences basically come in and we're like, okay, what did you see? What did you witness? What happened? And he says he saw the open heart surgery, and then they ask, okay, now explain that in the great detail. He talked about the tools that they used. He got it all correct. He talked about the actual process of which they cut him open and started fucking with the heart and all this stuff. Then the reporter or the scientist guy who was compiling the information goes to the doctor and says it all to the doctor to make sure that what he said was legit. But like at first, to make sure it was legit, he didn't say it came from the guy. He just explained the process. And then the doctor was like, yeah, you got all that right. And he was like, well, that came from the dude who was fucking dead on the table. And so then after that process, then it gets into the stuff where they can't confirm this because this is individual to the experience. And the most of the experiences are good. And the good experiences, they say that they feel relief. They end up basically getting dragged up into the sky, and they arrive at the super bright light. But they all describe it as, it's not like a light that you see out of a light bulb. It's a different kind of light. They all say the same thing. It's crazy. They say that you can't explain it in words. That would make sense. And then they describe that all of their senses are heightened. They can
taste the rainbow.
You say that, and that's literally how they describe it, as certain senses mesh together and make a new sense. And they said, you know how we have our normal 5 senses. When you're in this state, people say you have like 50. People say you can see smell, and you can like taste sounds and shit. Like they said, it makes no sense. Explaining.
You're telling me there's a way to be able to see who ripped ass in the subway?
Yes.
People describe a lot of LSD and psychedelic trips the same way.
Now, see, so this is gonna get crazy. So basically, after this, then they describe seeing a city, and they describe it how it's exactly how it's described in the Bible. They say it is a golden city where you can see all your friends and family and other people walking around. And they say that there's always a welcoming committee. Always. There's always people ready to greet you. And it's your immediate family that may have passed away, but it's also ancestors, like people way, way, way back that you've never even met before. And they all explain where you are, what's going on. And then there's always like an extra person there, but they don't ever recognize the other person. And that's almost the same across the board. They always say there's always one person there, and they always describe it as like a female presence. It's always like a
Do they
female presence.
do they
Just a
describe
secretary.
that even though they with the welcoming committee they might recognize a lot of the people that are like immediate family relatives, but do they ever say that some of the people that they might have never like their ancestors they've never met or heard about them, but they have this sense of familiarity
Yeah,
with them?
it's like a feeling. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So that feeling they have towards everyone except for that one person.
yeah, yeah. And sometimes it's just the one person too. Sometimes because they say there's always some form of someone being there to help you in the process. Always. And that's for everybody who's talked about this experience, right? And so then it's not all of them, but there is a few where they say they described seeing a man brimming of light. And this is what blows my fucking mind. Almost all these people describe seeing holes in the hands. Almost all of them. Even there was a little kid who went through this process, and
is it the Holy One?
the Holy One. You mean
I
God?
like the pun. I like what we're talking about. And yes,
It
I
is the
I like
Holy
that.
One.
That's good. Correct.
Okay, continue.
So there was a story of this one little kid who died, and the dad kind of had a mental breakdown because his kid died, and he ends up walking away to like a closet. He locks himself in this closet at the hospital, and he just starts screaming, having a mental breakdown. The kid describes seeing the dad having the mental breakdown and was feeling sad that his dad was sad. And he describes sitting on this other guy's lap. This dude brimming with light sitting on his lap. And he looks at the dude that he's sitting on the lap of and says, "Why is my dad so sad?" And he's like, "Well, we need to send you back because your dad is having a hard time and you need to be there for your dad." And he was talking to fucking God. And when he comes back, he describes this thing to his dad later, like months later, they get ready to go home or whatever. And the kid starts saying, "I'm sorry you had to go into the closet and cry," or whatever. I'm not explaining it detail by detail. But then the dad was like, "How the fuck do you know that even happened?" And then the kid starts expressing the whole story that I just told you. And he even mentioned that the guy he said he had markers on his hands, thinking like coloring markers. But what later the dad was like, "You mean like cuts or holes or whatever?" And then the kid described that, and then that was even more crazy. But anyways, that's a lot of the good ones. But that is over like 900 people that have all described like almost the same process. But then now that there are some bad ones too, and I think these are also equally crazy.
So I have one about this. I could talk about it if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So when I died, I was chained to these two idiots, and we had to go over this obstacle course and just
Yeah.
climb up, and it was awful.
Yeah,
Anyway, sorry.
I think I kind of remember that too. I think.
Yeah, it was like yesterday.
Yeah, were you talking about us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
One of them got really mad, and me and the other idiot were just laughing. It was pretty fun.
I feel really bad for the mad one.
I feel more bad for the idiots because they were stuck to the mad one who wouldn't stop complaining the whole fucking time like a little bitch. Sorry. I love you, Ryan.
So one of the bad ones. So there's a couple of bad ones I'm going to talk about. There was this one where this guy died, and when he woke up, he was in a dark place. Like his exact words were, it was darker than black. Like it was absolute darkness.
I think I've heard this story. It's like there's no. It's almost as if every sense you have is completely cut off, and everything you feel is numb. You have no reaction, and you have this sense of dread.
Well, he had feeling though. So what he described was that when he woke up, he originally was in his hospital room, and these black figures walk in, and they said, come with us. We're going to help you out. And he follows them. And then that's when he walks into like the super black area, where it slowly started to become more and more black, more and more dark. And as that was happening, these figures were getting more and more aggressive, more and more mean, more and more like pushing him and shit. And he starts getting scared and he wants to go back, but then they're like, no, go, keep going forward or whatever. And eventually these black figures start like cutting him and scratching him and like started biting and tearing him apart. Literally, he described it as I was being ripped limb from limb. Until eventually he was like, save me, get me out of here. And then the beam of light figure comes in and pulls him out of it. And he woke up in his body after that. And they like resuscitated him. And so, anyways, pretty much after all this, these team of scientists or whatever that were been looking into all this, they have literally wrote down like a whole process and all these things of how it's like to die, basically, and the process that you'd go. And the thing that I respect about some of these scientists were like, we're not going to sit here and tell you that this is all fact. But what we are going to tell you is that we reviewed over 1,000 people, and almost all of the stories in the process is exactly the same. And that's got to mean something. Like, that's fucking insane. And the parts that they could verify were all verified. And so
when coincidences keep happening, you have to reshape your thinking.
yeah.
So Ryan's getting baptized next week, guys. That's
yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Good job, Ryan.
Yeah, and
Sorry, that was a joke.
I think it's just a cool.
It is cool.
I feel like not enough people talk about stuff like that. And I mean, I don't know how fucking true it all is. I mean, shit, it could be all fabricated. I have no idea, but if the claims are true, that's fucking awesome, in my opinion.
Pretty snazzy.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I want to know we probably will never know because it's all belief and what you feel, but what causes someone to go to the light and then what causes someone to go to the dark? Because that one person, that story you just told, that person experienced obviously probably being dragged down to hell by demons is what it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then get saved. So what does someone have to do in their lifetime? Because
there's a parable about this.
A parable?
There's a parable about this. Yep.
Bible verse type deal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Elaborate.
So there was this kid named Alma, and his dad was a priest over the church, and he went around with his buddies, and would be like, "Hey, you guys shouldn't follow the church. The church is stinky, and they're losers, and they're stingy, and the church isn't for our time." Stuff you never hear now, ever. And his father, who was also named Alma, prayed for him. Was basically like, "Can you help my son get his head out of his ass?" Those exact words. No. And so an angel came and basically struck him down, essentially killed him, put him in a coma, where it's very similar to the story Taylor described, actually, where he was tormented in hell, and then as soon as he called out for help from like Jesus, that's the second he was saved and the torment stopped. So what he did is he's described as leading people away from like God, the church, whatever, depending on how theological you want to get, and then also just riotous living, like debauchery, sex, drugs, rock and roll, that whole thing. And he was also just a dickhead on top of it. He wasn't even nice.
So just being a shitty person is what got him there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then if you want to boil it down, I'm observing this through mostly not even mostly 100% Christian lens. Is as soon as you call upon the name of Jesus and like accept him into your heart, that is the moment you will be saved.
Yeah, that was kind of the gist. But there was even some people who like weren't even religious. Some of the ones where they were like, I didn't believe in any of that shit until I saw that. And it was a good experience. Like there was this one lady who she didn't really believe. She was agnostic,
I'm on the
and
fence.
she went through this experience, and she described it as God himself gave her a tour of heaven, like literally walked with her through the city and was like, hey, look at all this shit, like, look, this is all cool and snazzy and whatnot. And before she gets sent back, she like was like, why don't you show like everybody this? I don't feel like anyone would have an issue, believing and whatnot. And he said a quote from the Bible, and I don't remember what quote it was. Something about like the gist of it is that if you see it, you won't believe it nearly as deeply as if you don't see it and you're just going fully on belief. It's like stronger. That it's more real to you if you're just basing it off of belief or something. That was the gist. I don't know. I don't remember what the exact line was, but it was essentially something like that. And she was like, oh, shit. Okay, that makes sense. And the reason why she was sent back is because God said, your older son is going to die and you need to be sent back for the rest of your family. And she didn't. Obviously, you can see all that shit and have that experience, but it's not going to make you. There's still going to be that sense of denial, especially when it's someone you love. And for the rest up, like for many years after that, because he was like young at the time, and he said he was going to die at 18. And for the whole time, she was like, nah, he's not going to die. And then he turned 18 and then got hit by a car and died. And that like fucked her up really bad.
Like he foresaw his own death.
The God did. God told the
God,
mom. God told the mom that I'm sending you back because this is going to happen, and you need to be there for the rest of your family.
Kind of going along with that is like, especially as Christians, we're all taught that you accept Jesus, you're going to be saved, which of course there's variations of based on personal choice. I think it's situations like that where there's agnostic people who haven't accepted Jesus, who are in the presence of God or whatever being have you, because this is all theory from where we are sitting.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
So that kind of begs the question: what's the form of acceptance? Because and everybody's different at what acceptance is. Some people acceptance is going to church every Sunday and getting baptized. That's when you're actually accepted by God. While other people would say, well, I don't go to church, but I believe in God. I believe in the Bible. I believe in Jesus.
I think that's
Is that enough?
I think
Yeah.
that's where it
It's
is.
the
I think it's gonna
acknowledgement that
depend, because there's a book in, or not a book, there's a verse in the Bible that says faith without works is dead. And so that does not mean you're going to be saved by your works, because you could never measure up ever, no matter how many works you did. It's if you have knowledge of something and you don't do it. Like, for example, in my case, I know I should be going to church, and I don't do that every week, but I know I should. Versus, let's take YouTube, for example, or I'll use Taylor as an example, where he's a devout Christian, doesn't necessarily go to church every week, but according to his faith, the knowledge that he should go to church, he has a different variation of. So it's going to be according to each person's individual knowledge.
So could that also trickle down to somebody going to their own type of church, whether that's not actually going to church, but once a week going and doing something like donating their time to go and helping other people? Is that their form of church?
It could be a form of expressing works because of faith.
I
I
think
would say sure.
I think
I'm not God.
in my opinion, my personal belief, I think it like kind of like what Hiram said. It depends on your amount of knowledge. I feel like with your amount of knowledge, in your amount of, how do I say this? The amount of knowledge you have, which the amount of output you put because of that knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. So it's like if you only know the basics, but you're still trying to be a good person, I think that's enough. And you're like, yeah, I believe in this.
Mhm. I think it's the more knowledge you have, the more accountable you have to be.
Yeah.
Because like I've devoted probably half my life to religious scholarship, um, and so I know there's a lot of shit I should be doing that I'm not, and it's gonna come bite me in the ass later, and I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Versus if you take something like what Taylor's doing is he's reading the Bible more and he's kind of getting more into it. His knowledge is going to change and he's going to make decisions based off of that new knowledge as he progresses. So you're going to be, I think you're going to be met where you're at. It's not so much where you're at, it's
Mm-hmm.
the direction you're heading that's important.
Yeah.
Because it's better to be one step from the devil facing towards God than it is to be one step away from God facing towards the devil.
I think that makes sense.
So
Yeah.
it really just depends on where you're at, where your knowledge is, what you know you should be accountable for versus what you know you're not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What do you think about doing? Some people do church at home. What do you think about that?
I did church at home during quarantine. Um, Jesus says where two or more people in are gathered in my name, I am there. So that's perfectly acceptable.
Kendra said she does church at home.
Church at home is dope. Fully support.
Honestly, I think that's better in my opinion, anyway. But
Yeah, there's a lot of political issues that come with large religious organizations.
And I think that's the biggest issue with religion and beliefs nowadays is there's so much corruption and
Mm-hmm.
pretty much everything is
Everything.
corrupt at some point.
you know, I
There's big
was.
churches out there. I'm talking. There's big
Oh,
churches out there that have been known to steal money and to basically lie. A great example is what was the I think Hiram. I think you're the one that told me the story about that there was a hurricane in the south and a mattress furniture store. A local guy owned this mattress furniture store, and so many people. What?
Pretty often.
I heard. Hey, you told me about this story once. Yeah, there was a hurricane. Oh yeah, and there was a mattress store.
Oh, okay. I don't remember this story.
Yeah, I don't either.
So, fucking hate you guys.
I'm sorry. I wasn't laughing. Why is the hate
So
coming towards me? I love you.
there was this large church in this area where this hurricane happened. This guy who owned this local mattress store donated all of his mattresses to help people because people had their houses torn down. People lost everything, and they were like, "Here, take these mattresses. Go sleep on them. Have a good night's rest. You know, donate it to the shelter for people to sleep at." Before they approached him, they approached a church, and they were like, "Hey, you have a large venue. Can we use this as a
Oh,
resource,
okay. I remember this
a
now.
resource site to help bring people in and to take care of them?" He was like, "No, we can't. We just got the carpets cleaned and the carpets redone." So they legally couldn't use the building. But this dude who owns a business was like, "I don't give a fuck about it. Here, take all these mattresses. Do whatever you need with them. I don't
Yeah.
fucking care." And then he opened up his building and kept some of the mattresses and kept people inside the building and sheltered them. So it's like you have someone who is a person of God who is supposedly supposed to be there for the community and but is not there because the carpets just got cleaned. And then you have someone who isn't a religious person, who doesn't go to church, who doesn't talk about religion, but yet was there when the community needed him. And he did the most, he did way more than what this pastor could have done.
So I also believe this firmly. Is it says that God knows your heart, and I think
Mm-hmm.
it's all about where your heart is what I think. And I feel like ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what you're going to be judged on, is
Absolutely.
what your heart is. It's like, because if you're doing something and you're conflicted, you may know something's wrong, but there are other factors playing into it, but you know in your heart what you're doing may be wrong. I feel like you're going to be more judged on that than now. If you in your heart doesn't think anything's wrong and what you're doing is fine and you're doing something bad, that's
So
different.
That gets a little iffy.
that makes sense because people,
Well,
whether it's through church or family or just like a a person that they look up to, they can be misguided into something that is right when it's morally wrong because they didn't know otherwise. How can someone be judged if they didn't know?
Well, and
Exactly.
I
You're
also
just according to your knowledge,
an,
100%.
an example I would say is like people who have to kill in war, right? It's like you know in your heart you're doing what you have to do, but it doesn't mean you like it. It's like
Mhm.
that is a prime example of it's judging on your heart. So it's like all of those factors would be taken into account.
Yeah.
I
I
think.
like this. I like this comment. I forget this girl's name.
Kendra.
Kendra. She said, just because someone is a person of God, quote unquote, doesn't mean they are a godly person. Wolves can always wear sheep's clothing, and Jesus
I'm
talked about this, and there's other people, other prophets who have talked about it. Where it's like tons of people are going to use God as an excuse for so much shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
how many pastors and religious figures out there have been accused of doing something towards younger people?
A
It's
Mm-hmm.
like
lot.
there's people who get in those positions, whether that's what they were intended or they get there and they are just consumed by whatever type of power that they have over that commune, that they feel like they can do anything, and because they are the word of God, God will not judge them.
Mm.
It really,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree.
And
Something like that happened on when I was a missionary. Is a someone very high ranking for the state um, molested one of the female missionaries, and then two elders from Samoa
the
went
M
and
the
kicked the
M
shit out of him, and he died.
say grape.
Grape.
Yeah. Don't use the actual words.
What did I say?
The M word.
Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad. He touched inappropriately.
Yeah.
Anyway, but he got the crap kicked out of him by these two really big dudes, and he was killed because of it. It
Yeah.
was wild.
I guess to kind of bring it back to the near death experience things. The guy who was in complete darkness that I was talking about, he did
Mhm.
talk about after the fact that he wasn't the greatest dude, and he said that he was kind of abusive to his wife and shit. And he did say that like after that experience, he he changed, tried to become a better person, but he also there was some negative effect to it too, where he was pretty traumatized, and he said that he did have pretty bad PTSD after the fact, and he got a little too obsessed. So the experience that happened to him when he was in like his late 20s, early 30s, and when he started openly talking about the story, he was in like his 50s, and he did describe that it it he got too obsessed, and it took over his whole life, and a lot of his family left him and all this shit. And I think the gist of it is that like if not it's not only bad deeds that can make you go into this bad place. I think it's also like internal torment, like internal conflict too. It's about the soul, right? Like you need.
isn't that
Hmm?
isn't that basically what PTSD is? Is that it's kind of your body's in torment of an experience that happened?
Well, I mean, I'm talking like to go to hell or whatever. I think it's not so much. How do I explain this? It's not. I feel like PTSD is a side effect of an external event. This is like an internal thing that you're dealing with. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, I got you.
And I think that it's all about keeping the soul pure and keeping the soul intact. I think helps in these kind of processes. So yeah, Kendra said I brought up war, and it made her think. Do I believe America is headed towards another civil war? Oh shit! Oh
Okay,
god!
so here, let me share my thoughts about this.
Oh
'Cause I just talked
god!
about
This is a
that.
drastic 90
Um,
to 90 turn. Oh
Okay,
shit!
I
so
lost this.
especially with what happened yesterday, because everybody knows what happened yesterday. Um, if we are edging towards we're edging closer and closer
We
towards the
are
civil war.
edging.
We're just
But
edging, period.
it is not going to be a civil war like the original or like the Revolutionary War. It will be a proxy. I believe it will be a proxy civil war, and what will end up happening is there will be people will start being more divided and judge you by your not your belief but by your political belief, and there will be cities that will start excluding people with certain political beliefs. So you'll have this city over here in the same state in the same region that is only for left, hard left, middle left, whatever, and you'll have a city over here that is for only right, hard right, middle right, doesn't matter.
We'll
We
get
will start being separated,
we'll get prosecuted
and
for our political beliefs.
we
I
won't
think.
be there will probably be inner city wars, but I don't think it will be like the Civil War to where it was like a whole region going together because we're so scattered. There's so many people, even in big cities, there's a large amount of people who are not, blue, or people who are in red states who aren't red, that they're not going to be able to just, yeah, we're going to go guns blazing. We're just going to start shooting everybody. It will be just like the Cold War. It will be very high tense and a very high proxy war, a lot of tension for the next decade, because it won't go over quickly like the Civil War. How long did the Civil War last, Hiram?
I don't know.
It was a few years,
It was a
I
while.
believe.
I think it was more than 2. I
I want
think.
to say it was
It
5
was
years.
more than 5 years, sounds about right. Well, if there's a proxy war that happens, that means that the tension will stay at a level high at all times, and there will be no relief. So the Civil War, the Civil Proxy War, will probably last more than a decade, and that will be the
This
new America.
war was a little over 4 years.
So what I'm about to say, I'm gonna keep it brief because I don't want to get into trouble. But I will say something that I'm noticing is that in yesterday's attempt at unaliving a certain somebody, um, there is a little bit of a movement starting to form up, and I don't know what kind of movement it's going to become because he did literally say fight. He said fight like 3 times.
I will say, I think what he meant is what he's been saying this entire time is not fight, don't go out and just fight people.
Yeah.
I think what he's saying is go, like, fight, don't give up, keep fighting what you guys are doing right now. I don't think he wants people to go out
No.
and do any
I
harm
don't
at
think
He
all.
that
said
either.
multiple times, don't do that.
Personally,
Yeah,
I feel like the kind of fighting that's like you were just saying, like a proxy war type of deal. I think the type of fighting that people are gonna start doing is gonna be like a more intense, like
It's gonna be economic, if anything.
yeah, like in terms of striking, like imagine striking, but like in a really big, impactful scale, like.
It's like we're not gonna buy from this company because you're based out of this
Oh, like-
blue state or this red state.
Like when like France, I think it was France, where they took all the farmers came and started shooting manure into all of their like politicians' fucking buildings and
They
shit.
didn't like the tax.
Like
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna start doing shit like that. I think people are gonna start doing stuff. Like that.
I think when he said fight, it's not to fight back, but more of like keep fighting, keep standing your ground, keep doing what you're doing.
Which is something that needs to keep happening. I
Yeah.
do agree with that.
Yeah, he's. My dad has a saying where it's because there was a point in my youth where I had some pretty
You had a
radical
youth?
ideas. No, I was born as a 23-year-old man.
You just came out 23 years old.
I've been like this. I've been the same height since I was 12, so pretty much, yeah.
No, I can imagine.
Um,
You came out a baby, but you had the same mental capacity as you do now.
It kind of feels like that sometimes. I was talking in complete sentences.
You came out of the womb reading a Bible verse.
It's probably true.
Came out and went, "Mama, please take me to church."
I actually really hate going to church
Yeah,
with a
me-
passion.
me
There's
too.
too many people.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Is this just me? But I'm uncomfortable when I go to church.
Yeah, I am too.
Like I'm.
Satan
and
wriggling in your
I have
soul.
family
It's the
members.
demon you haven't expelled from your soul.
I have family members who go to church on a regular basis. I have family members who are very Christian, very loving, and very just absolutely amazing people.
Yeah.
And I have other family members who are still amazing people, but they haven't been to church in over 50 years. And they even get uncomfortable when they step inside of a church.
I think it's just because church has changed. I just don't think it's like what it
Yeah, it's gotten
was.
weird. A lot of it depends on the congregation where you're at.
I,
'Cause,
I
like,
I'd
even-
imagine like a smaller church, a more chill church would be better. I don't know.
Yeah, I love going out to like the boonies, like Midwest church, where there's only like 10 people in a congregation.
Well, even those can be iffy too, because you don't want to get
They
the
can be weird.
ones you don't want to
They
get
can
the
be
ones
weird.
with, like the pastor sitting up there. We must burn them to the ground. You know, like that kind of shit.
Oh,
Not
I
as
like
common
this.
as you
I
think,
like this
but
nice
okay.
little church. It's really cute. Yeah.
Well,
Go
out
in
in
5 minutes later.
out in the boonies with only 10 people, I feel like it would be more. That'd be
Yeah.
more expected.
Well, even
I
if
don't-
you're in the
I don't
same
think we have it.
denominations, you get weird beliefs based on where you're at in the
Yeah.
states.
We have a Russian church out on the east side,
Mhm.
past the
You have a
boondock.
you have a Korean one,
Yep.
Gage.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Internet, that's fine.
Yeah, we don't mind. They're cool. I've actually been there before. It was pretty fun. Enjoyed it thoroughly.
I will say, I don't know if this is really weird or cringe for me to say, I've always wanted to experience a black church.
It is so fun.
No,
I
that's
highly
not. I
recommend
feel the
everyone
same
should do
way.
it.
I've
It's so fun.
I've been to
I've
one,
always,
and it was really nice.
You know
I
the best part?
I've always seen it in movies, but the one time I had a party at my place and my buddy Mar came over and he said that he was like, sorry I'm late, I was at church, and I was like, you go to church? And he goes, I go to a black church. And I'm like, what? Are you saying that because you're black? And he goes, no, I go to a black church. You see from the movies when they're all up in ham and singing. And I'm like, yeah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. And
See,
he's like, yeah, that's what they were doing. And I was like, that's a real shit. That's
I-
real.
I love their music.
That's
Their music is
the
awesome.
Black Southern Baptist.
Yeah.
Sublime. So there's a choir director up where I live where she's become Mormon, but her and her husband were Baptist for a long time, and she runs a Black Baptist style choir that I've sang it a few times. It is so much fun. It's not
Yeah.
really my thing, but it's so fun.
I like the music a lot, and they have good
Yeah.
food.
It's so fun.
White people church is lame.
White people church is lame.
Dude, if
Oh God.
man, we are gonna get so canceled way too early.
All right, I'm gonna say it. What was on the menu? Chicken, watermelon.
Dude, mac and cheese, bro.
Mac and cheese.
Their mac and cheese is
Mac
the
and cheese
shit.
Mac and cheese is
Pulled
always
pork
good.
sandwiches.
Pulled pork sandwiches.
Pulled pork
Mhm.
sandwiches.
Tea,
Yeah.
like the legit, really good tea.
Like the iced tea.
Yeah.
With
Fuck.
like that's more sugar than tea.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So good.
Ah, yeah.
Sublime, even.
That's fucking crazy.
So
Yeah, no,
Queso Alfredo.
I thought the
Hell
whole
yeah.
black church thing was just something that was
No, that's real.
stimulated from movies, and that was just kind of a movie thing.
Okay.
I never knew that was a real fucking thing.
So
is.
last week's episode, I did promise that this was going to be a little bit of a game episode. So to
Okay.
make up for this totally religious paper, I
could
was gonna say
talk about
paper trail,
religion
but-
all day.
but
Oh,
like
I
this,
got it.
this. No! Shut the fuck up!
I got a game.
I'm fucking talking, Ryan.
The game's called Repent.
So I did title this stream.
Have you ever looked at
Have you ever licked a lizard? So here's the game. You
Okay.
two are going to basically give me an explanation as to why any of the things we talked about this stream has to do with licking a lizard.
I got it.
And no, hold on. And for whoever I like the most, they'll be the winner.
Wait, what are we graded on though? Because my answer may change depending on.
It can't change. It's just you got to explain it to me, and if I like it, then
I can't fucking think. How the fuck
That's
with
too-
everything
that's-
that we've
Okay,
talked
I got
about
this.
is connected
I got
to a
this.
lizard.
that's why it's a
got this.
challenge.
Okay, I'm ready. I wanted to talk about this earlier.
Okay, Ryan,
but-
you better think of something because I'm
Ready.
going to ask you next.
Okay,
Retell me the rules.
What do you mean we tell you the rules?
you have to relate what we've talked about with like religion and theology back to have you ever licked a wizard?
Yeah, and you have to make it make. I'm grading it
I'm
off
so literal.
of.
My brain doesn't work like that. I don't even know how
You
that's
have.
physically possible.
I'm sorry, you have to figure it out. I'll tell you this: you can call a friend. You can call a friend.
One of your Southern Baptist friends.
But you can't call Hyrum or myself.
Oh, that'd be good.
Okay.
Oh look, Hiram. Oh look, I'm getting a call.
Okay.
Hey, I need your help. Walk off stream for 5 minutes.
He just goes, "Excuse me, I have to take a pee," and he just gets up, walks away.
Yeah,
Okay,
that would be so funny.
and this will be graded off
Do
of
I have to take a pee?
this will. Dog, no, you're fucking kidding.
I can't even. Okay, you tell me that I could ask people. I don't even think I can ask someone because
Okay.
they're gonna be like, "How does that correlate with each other?"
Ryan,
No, I got this.
shut the fuck up.
Let
Listen,
me go.
listen to
Go.
me. It'll be graded off of if I think it actually makes sense or if it's funny enough. Okay?
Okay, I can do one of those.
All right. Okay,
Okay.
Hiram, go.
There is a story by C.S. Lewis. It's a very short story, but it's about a man who dies and goes to hell.
Asshole has resources apparently.
I do. There's a talk by Hank Smith I highly recommend. He goes in deep on this story. It's fantastic. Anyway, so this man dies and he goes to hell, and when he goes to hell, the person that shows him around is a lizard that sits on his shoulder, like a big lizard. It's like 1.5 feet long, and it sits on his shoulder, and he talks to it, talks to him. They're friends. They hang out. But hell's really boring because the only person he has to talk to is this freaking lizard, and lizards don't have a lot to say. And so one day, this freaking angel tour guide is like, "Hey, do y'all want to come take a tour of heaven?" And he's like, "I'm not doing anything. Absolutely, I want to take a tour of heaven." And so then he goes and he walks into heaven. He's checking out the Golden City as described by C.S. Lewis, and apparently a ton of other people as well, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
And he meets this guy at the gate, and the guy's like, "Hey, you can stay here if you really want to." And he's like, "I do want to. That sounds pretty good." And then the guy he's talking to says, "But you need to give me that." And he points at the lizard. And he's like, "Do I have to? We're kind of friends. We kind of hang out." And he goes, "That thing cannot stay here." And so he thinks about it for a second, and he goes, "Okay." He starts to say "okay," but then as soon as he starts to talk, the lizard sinks its claws into him, like bites him to stop him from talking. And so it like tries to hold his mouth shut. It just gets crazy. And then as soon as the man says, "Take it," the guy grabs the lizard and he just hucks it like baseball, chucks it. And as soon as the lizard's off of him, he realizes how much lighter he feels. And he realizes the person who took the lizard from him was Jesus. And he got to stay in heaven.
Who was the lizard?
Satan, a demon of some kind.
But at what
Being of
point?
hell.
At what point did he lick the lizard?
It was when he's trying to hold his mouth shut.
Oh, okay.
He licked it, went in his mouth a little bit.
All right, you saved it a little bit. Okay. All right, Ryan.
Yeah. It's not funny. It's just a fun, interesting story.
Dude.
You definitely brought it back.
He couldn't even keep correlate that to licking a lizard.
Well, yeah, he did. It related
He
to
was holding
religion.
His mouth shut. Its tail got in his mouth.
It related
I-
to religion.
I'll give the lizard the
He
All
licked
right.
a little. Oh, real
All
quick,
right,
did you
fine,
check Snap?
Fine.
Did you check Snap?
Did I check? Yeah, I did check.
Oh,
Snap.
okay, great.
You guys are colluding.
Okay. No, he doesn't have Snapchat.
I don't even use Snap.
He doesn't use social media except for Facebook and Instagram.
Not even Facebook, just Instagram.
So,
Oh, just Instagram. Okay, cool. I don't use Facebook either.
Kendra's just okay. Whatever.
I said he could
Okay.
phone a friend. That was perfectly acceptable.
I didn't even phone a friend. She phoned me.
That's
She knew I was in trouble.
she's manipulating an. I almost said erection.
She is the lizard.
She's the lizard.
She is the lizard on my
Ryan
shoulder
licked
trying to help
her.
me. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Like the side of her face, just
Now remember, it's got to make sense.
not in like a weird way.
Okay. So, Adam and Eve, right?
Oh god.
Adam and Eve. It was never a snake. It was never the devil that told Adam or Eve to eat the apple. It was actually a lizard person.
Oh.
That's actually true.
Fuck off.
It actually is. Read Genesis. The snake had feet.
As time has gone on, the human race would evolve. At some point, the lizard people decided, you know what? We can't. They're too fragile. We can't stay down here and watch them. We need to watch them from somewhere else. Lo and behold, they brought the moon in. Okay.
I'm enjoying. And there was the moon. And the
Brought
moon
the
had a
moon in.
mattress store on it.
Brought the moon in to observe the humans as they grow. Every time. I don't even know where the fuck I'm going with this thing, man. I'm bringing in like 15 different conspiracy theories in my brain, and they're just going overdrive.
Every time you buy a
Don't
mattress, the moon
pause
gets
for a
little
second.
bigger.
If you pause longer than 5 seconds, you're automatically revoked.
So for generations the lizard people have watched the human race from the moon, right? Every time they die, they don't actually go to heaven. They go
They go to
to
the mattress store on the moon. Sorry,
They
I'll
go-
stop.
they go to this beacon that is set on the moon that eats their souls. And what they're experiencing isn't delight. It is actually their soul being captured by these lizard people. And these lizard people use this soul energy to power the moon and to power all the other spaceships. So theoretically, they basically let humans live on they let humans live on Earth for the sole purpose to die. And they gave them the idea that to force them to be good and to actually work, that if you are not good and you die, you will go to hell. You will not have a fun or happy afterlife. But if you obey and you follow the rules, you will have. I revoke. I'm done.
No, keep going. Keep going. You got to finish.
I'm actually enjoying this. Please continue.
You guys say you're enjoying this, but you're sitting there laughing.
Because we're enjoying
It's
it.
funny.
So. Yeah.
All right, you
lost it.
you pause too long.
Yeah, I lost it.
All right,
How's it
all right.
relate to licking a lizard.
Yeah, no point was a lizard licked.
Well, that's the.
Did you know if you want to take some LSD and feel like you're going to heaven, there's certain breeds
Did you know I could
of
drive to
lizards
Utah and
you can
bitch
lick?
slap you myself?
I will come. Don't do that.
I will too.
Ooh, maybe you should then.
All right, Hiram, you win.
Hell yeah. Wait, do I have to host the next episode?
Yep.
God damn it.
This is distractible now.
Fuck.
No, that means I'm Wade.
Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed. And
Bob.
if you've learned anything today,
Doesn't
if you die, you're gonna lick a lizard. But only if you die.
That's the key to going to heaven. You have to lick the lizard's toe.
Or many.
Dirty,
Or many
grime,
lizards.
or many toes. Many grimy, gross toes that haven't been cleaned in millennials.
Anyways.
Have no clean millennials between their toes.
Anyways.
No, like centuries, decades.
Century-old scum and fungi.
How long is a millennium?
I'm trying to do an
1,000
outro here, guys.
years.
We're trying to
still
figure out
talking.
what.
You're still
We're
doing
trying to figure out how long a millennium is.
1,000 years.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, for millennium.
Yeah, Kerry Money said that. Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
As always, I hope you all enjoyed. Welcome back, Hiram, from the ether.
Bus. Yeah, I was having my near-death experience. I was hanging out with lizards in hell.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
As always, I hope you all have a wonderful,
And as
wonderful
always,
week.
Go get hit by a bus, you plebeians.
Peace.
Hey, we don't overlap. We don't overlap outros, okay? It's one at a time. Okay, I
I'm
go
gonna
first,
overlap my
and then
Crush
okay,
face.
I'm leaving now.
This is why I'm quiet.